Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. Now in this lesson, we are solving some past questions on sets and operation on sets. These two questions are past questions. And in as much as I'll try my best to be simple and direct in solving these questions, if there's anything you don't understand, you can always check on the playlist where I have gone through the explanations and then the tutorials of all the concepts that I'll be using to solve this question. So without much I say, let's quickly look into it. For the very first question here, which says you should list the members of each of the sets. So for set B, we are talking of whole numbers from 20 to 30. And for whole numbers, of course, 20 is included, followed by 21, then 22, all the way towards 30, as we see over here. Then for the factors of 63, so if you want to be able to list this out, then it means you should know your multiplication. You see, your multiplication table. You know 1 times 63 gives us what? 63. So 1 is a factor of 63. Then 3 is also a factor of 63. If you don't know your multiplication table, you can also use the divisibility rules. We say a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. 7 is also a factor of 63. Then we have a 9. Okay, that is 7 times 9. We have 21, and then 63 as well. So 63 times 1, 21 times 3, and then 7 times 9. All these are the factors of what? 63. Now, the first part of the question says it wants B intersection I. B intersection I. And we have said in our tutorial lessons that intersection simply means what you have in both of them, what you have in both sets. So if you look at it carefully, then it is just 21 that occurs in both sets, you see. So hence, we can say our B intersection D is what? 21. It has just one element. Then the next one says we should do what? We should find the union of B and then D. Union of B and D. So over here, they just want to test your understanding on what? Union. And you know, for union of sets, we don't repeat elements that are in both sets. You just write one of them. The other elements in the other set. So B union D is going to give us our 1, our 3, 7, 9. You see, so we are writing all these elements. You see, then we come to 21, which is here, and we come to 22, which is also here. For this 20 and this 21, we have already written them. You see, then we come to 23, 24, till you get to what? 60, then you come to 63. So you are combining all the elements in both sets. That is what union means. So that ends this first question over here. Then let's look at the second question. The second question has to do with the Venn diagram. So you would have to pay attention to look at the procedure we'll be using to solve it. Now the question says, in a class of 60 students, 46 passed mathematics and 42 passed English language. Every student passed at least one of the two subjects. So you have to illustrate this information on a Venn diagram. And secondly, how many students passed in both subjects? Now, before we attend to this question, you would first have to write out your parameters. That is what you can write out from the question you've been given. You see, it helps you get a clear picture of what you are working with. Okay, so let me quickly write that down. So here I have my parameters written. I'm going to say, let U be the total number of students. You see, so anywhere you see U, it simply means what? The total number of students. Then I come and say M be what? Student who passed mathematics. And then my E would then be the student who passed in English. So if that has been written, then we can come and say it implies that the total number of students is then what? 60. You see, so that is 60. And then the number who passed in English, as we were told, they said there's 42 passed in English. So I put my 42 here. Then I can come and say the number who passed then in mathematics is going to be what? The 46. Now we check and see if there are any inferences we can make. We can make in the question we've been given. It says every student passed at least one of the two subjects. Anytime you are solving a set problem and then you see this statement, every student passed at least one of the two subjects, then it simply means that there's nothing in the complement. You see, so it means that if there's nothing in the complement, it means our M union E complement is equal to 0. You see, and if it is equal to 0, then it just tells us the equation we are going to work with. Because if the complement is 0, then it simply means that the union, that is M union E, is then equal to what? Your universal set, or the total number of students, hence no complement. So with our parameters written, it says we have to illustrate this information on a Venn diagram. So let's draw our Venn diagram over here. So this here is going to be my Venn diagram. And I'm going to say, I would let this circle here be for mathematics. And then my second circle here is going to be for English. So starting from the universal set, we say the number of what the total number of students which we had was what? 60. So you put that 60 over here. Then you come here and say the number of students who passed mathematics was what? That was 46. So I'll put my 46 here. Then the number of students who passed English as well was what? 42. So you put that also here as well. You see. Then with that done, we come and then put in our intersection. And as you can see, we weren't told the intersection in the question. So we represent that with a variable. You see, and we should have written that as well over here. So we say n of m intersection e is equal to any variable at all. So let's just make it, let's say, a y. Okay. So we come and put that y inside where we have these two circles intersecting. You see, and if we have put y over here, then it simply means the remaining over here, which is mathematics only, is going to be 46 minus y. And the same thing applies here, which is going to be what? 42 minus your y. With this now, your Venn diagram is done and then you are set. Okay. So this is our solution for I. This here is our solution for I. Then we go to the next question, which says how many students passed in both subjects? How many students passed in both subjects? That is this y over here. We are being asked to look for the y. So depending on how you see your Venn diagram, there are a lot of easy ways you can do that. But let's use the common formula, the very, very common formula, which says that our union is equal to the sum of the individual sets. So that is the cardinality of M plus that of E, then minus their intersection. So their intersection, that is M intersection E. You get it? Substituting our values, we know the universal set was given as what? 60. So 60 is equal to how many do we have for M? This here, 46. So 46 minus how many do you have for E? That is 42. So minus 42, sorry, plus 42. Then we come to minus their intersection, which was Y. So at this point, it's all about making Y the subject. So simplifying to make Y the subject, we have 60, which is equal to our 46 plus 42, which gives us an 88, then minus Y. You see, then let's just move this Y to the left hand side and then move our 60 to the right hand side. So they are going to get a y which is equal to 88 minus 60. So our y then is equal to what? 28. You see, so that simply means that 28 students passed both subjects. So we conclude by saying, therefore, the 28 students passed both subjects. And that ends our what? Solution. So if you wanted to what? Fill everything again with your correct 28 now, this is how it's going to be. You're going to get a 28 in here, which is that intersection. Then we make sure we put 18 here, because 18 plus 28 will give us the 46, which represents this whole circle over here. And then we have our 14 here plus 28 giving us this whole circle, which is our 42 over here. So this ends this particular set of questions. There are more to come, but to test your understanding, I'm just going to give you a try work so that you try it to see if you really understand or you really understood what we did here. So these are the questions, and then you can try them out. They are just about 5 questions. This is how Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. As I said earlier on, tutorials, in-depth tutorials on all these concepts are in the playlist. You can always go over them just to refresh your understanding. We've spoken about all the part of a two-set Venn diagram, and then we've looked at all the formulas as well. Solving questions would also help enhance your understanding. If this is your first time in this channel, if this is your first time on this channel, you can always choose to subscribe. That is if you so do wish. So anytime I release a video, you'll be notified as well. Stay blessed and see you in our next lesson. Bye.